Hello there and welcome back. This is English for Pinoys, the channel that provides mini English lessons for Filipinos. Today, it's all about tag ending questions. Stay tuned. Okay, so tag ending questions. What are they and how do we use them? Well, a tag question is a small question that is attached or it is tagged, right, to the end of a statement or a sentence, hence the name, tag ending questions. You can also call them tag questions, right? So there are two common formats of tag questions or tag ending questions. The first one is positive statement with a negative tag, and the second format is negative statement with a positive tag. So don't forget that. First, positive statement with a negative tag, and then a negative statement with a positive tag. So let's start with positive statement with a negative tag. So the statement here is they are done with their homework. That is a positive statement. So how do we form the tag? First, look at the verb. The be verb here is are. So form the negative of are. So you have aren't, and then just copy the subject they. So aren't they? So your question now would be, they are done with their homework, aren't they? That's easy enough. Now, what if your subject is not a pronoun? What if it's a noun like students? Well, same thing. The students are done with their homework. So again, look for the be verb, form the opposite or the negative of are, which is aren't, and you do not repeat students, replace students with the appropriate pronoun, which is, of course, they. So you have aren't they. So your statement would be, or your sentence is, the students are done with their homework, aren't they? Okay, so that's a positive statement with a negative tag. What about the opposite? You have a negative statement this time with a positive tag. So the negative statement is, he is not coming to work today. He is not coming to work today. So that's the negative form of the verb is, so is not. So this time, you form the positive of is not or isn't, which is, and then just copy the subject he. So you have he is not coming to work today. Is he? And again, what if the subject is actually a proper noun? Same thing. Mark is not coming to work today. So you just form the negative, or rather the positive of is not or isn't, which is his, and then replace Mark with the appropriate pronoun, which is the third person singular, and it's male, so he. So is he. So your statement is, Mark is not coming to work today. Is he? Okay, so that's I think easy enough. So what we dealt with in the previous examples were present simple as well as present progressive. What about other verb tenses? Okay, let's start with positive statement with a negative tag. So if you have the past simple, a past simple positive statement like he arrived today, this time you're going to use an auxiliary verb, right? Because you can't say he arrived today. Arrive he? Doesn't sound right? So you will use didn't, okay? Or didn't. And then copy the subject. Didn't he? So your statement now is, he arrived today, didn't he? What if it's a present perfect tense? So he has already arrived. So what you do is you look for the auxiliary verb, which is has, and then form the negative of has, which is hasn't, and then copy the subject. Okay? So hasn't he? He has already arrived. Hasn't he? Past perfect, same thing. He had finished his work when the boss arrived. So your verb here is had finished, but your auxiliary is had. You form the negative of had, which is hadn't, and then just copy the subject he. He had finished his work when the boss arrived, hadn't he? Next is a modal verb. What if you have a modal verb like can? See here, he can write poems. Same thing, you form the negative of can, which is can't, and then just copy the subject, which is he. So you now have he can write poems, can't he? Same with other modal verbs like she should do it, shouldn't she? They must not do it, or they must do it, mustn't they? Okay, so same rule will apply there. Same with negative statements with a positive tag, past simple. So you have the negative statement, He didn't eat his meal. Did he? So the positive of didn't is did. Then copy the subject he. Present perfect, he hasn't arrived yet. So the positive of hasn't is has. Then copy the subject he. He hasn't arrived yet, has he? Past perfect, he hadn't finished his work when the boss arrived. So the positive of hadn't is had. And then copy the subject he here. So he hadn't finished his work when the boss arrived, had he? And then he can't write poems. You have a modal verb, can't. The positive is can, so you have he can't write poems, can he? Now, with verbs like has, have, or had, there are two possible endings for these particular verbs. For example, you have enough food, haven't you? That's one possible ending. But you can also have you have enough food, don't you? So that is also correct. What if it's has? She has enough food, hasn't she? That's the first possible ending. And then she has enough food, doesn't she? That's the second possible ending. That's also correct. Another example, they had a commitment, hadn't they? That's a possible ending. And they had a commitment, didn't they? That's the second possible ending. What if you have an auxiliary modal verb or a quasi-modal verb like used to? So he used to speak a lot. So for used to, you use the past simple, the negative, okay, didn't. So he used to speak a lot, didn't he? Okay, so you copy again the subject he here. The lead singer used to play the drums, didn't he? Right, so that's the negative of used to. What if you have a demonstrative pronouns like this, these, that, and those? Well, for demonstrative pronouns, you're going to use the be verbs, the negative be verbs, in order to form the tag. For example, this is your book, isn't it? So you don't say this is your book, isn't this? So you say this is your book, isn't it? So you use it for this. What about these, which is plural? These are useful. These are useful materials, aren't? So the pronoun there is they, aren't they? Another one, that is a new phone, isn't it? And then those are his books, plural, aren't they? So that's how to form the tag question for statements with demonstrative pronouns. What if you have the word there, okay, acting as a sort of an expletive or acting as a filler subject? There is only one sun in the solar system. Now, all you need to do is to just copy there. Okay, so you form the negative of is, which is isn't, and then copy the subject here, there. Okay, there's only one sun in the solar system, isn't there? Well, actually, this is not the subject. This is sort of a filler or a placeholder. In grammar, that is called an expletive. So the statement is, there is only one sun in the solar system, isn't there? Why are we using is? Because of the verb is here. What about if it's plural? There are several books on the shelf, aren't there? This time you have the verb are, so the negative is aren't. So aren't there is your tag ending question. We also have what we call special tag questions for if your statement is I am or let us. So if your statement is I am or I'm your friend, your tag question is aren't I? Or you can also say I'm your friend, am I not? So those are both correct. Okay? So you either say aren't I, I'm your friend, aren't I? Or I'm your friend, am I not? For let us, the tag question is shall we? Okay, shall we? So that's a special tag question. For example, let's get started, shall we? Let's go out, shall we? So that's a special tag question. So there you go, tag ending questions. I hope you know how to use them now. If you have any topic that you'd like me to discuss here on English for Pinoys, feel free to write or post your suggestion in the comments section. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, share, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.